Well, here we go again. So incredibly delighted to be able to speak into your life and encourage you. Uh, Both the men who are hearing this live and all those who will hear that later this week or even online. So, those of you who are being strengthened online, as many of you follow and continue to get encouragement through these teaching videos online. So, we're welcoming you as well. Um, I'm always thrilled when I see your ongoing commitment to be here, to keep growing, to keep learning, to keep becoming the people God wants you to be, and to continue to win the battle over your addiction so that you can be a person of freedom rather than a person who's stuck in a prison. And so, my prayer would be that this would be another great, encouraging talk for you as you head in the direction of yeah, walking with integrity and walking with purity. So today's teaching is called No Compromise. No compromise. Uh, and the challenge is to do nothing to lower your standard of purity. To lower your standard of purity, that you would do nothing to do that. And the idea of no compromise. And just a reminder, there's different uses of the word compromise. And And so just a little bit of background definition to make sure that we're tracking with each other. We're not talking about compromise where you and I adjust our beliefs so we can come to agreement. We make a compromise. We both give in a bit. That's not what we're talking about. And it's really a compromise is a very um, uh, it's a very interesting invalidation of what you stand for. So to compromise by definition is to accept standards that are lower than desirable. You've compromised. You've got a standard that was here. Now you're going to go to a different standard. You've compromised. To allow your principles to be less strong. So you see how they've faded. Um, to permit your ethics or morals to erode. You started to compromise. You're on a road of compromisation. To weaken, lower, or lessen your values. You've compromised because you used to believe as we're a five finger, and now you're down to four, and then you continue to compromise, and you're down to three. I mean, and the idea is you're gonna to compromise is to lower, weaken, or lessen your values, and ultimately it's uh, you continue to make regrettable and disreputable, sometimes even shameful concessions in a direction that's not healthy. And so compromise. And not in your notes, but just some more thoughts that I had. Um, Compromises can be very subtle. It's not like, a big switch. It can be just very subtle, a very slight compromise. Sometimes incremental, like just a little bit, almost like the ticking hand of a clock moves around, but each of those steps is moving them in a direction of compromise in my illustration. So, you know, uh, compromise can be gradual. Compromise can be consistent. We're starting to slide. Compromise can be frequent. Compromise can be complete. So whether it's subtle or slight or gradual, incremental, consistent, frequent, or complete, you get the feel for compromise versus no compromise. None of those words fit me. I refuse to compromise. But with an addiction past, how many times you said, I'm not doing that anymore, and you found yourself compromising again? And so, uh, the the decision to have repeated compromise is often part of our addiction journey. Another way to look at it is compromise means, and I've just threw a whole bunch of words in there, whatever one works best for you, but it's to weaken, lessen, lower, dilute, fade, drop, dwindle, falter, decline, ignore your values, morals, or standards. So you can take any of those words. It's to lower your values. It's to dilute your standards. It's to fade in your standards. It's to dwindle in your morals. You see what I'm saying? You can take any of those words, but you see there's this erosion of commitment, erosion of consistency. You see, in compromise, the opposite would be consistent commitment to your values, anchored to your values versus compromising. And now, when you compromise, there's a lot of things that actually impact you because it endangers your goals. Your goal, in particular, of being a person of freedom. When you compromise, you gamble with what's important to you. Could be your spouse, your family, your marriage, staying together, just your own well-being. You gamble with what's important to you. When you compromise, you're operating haphazardly. That means I'm true today, then all of a sudden I'm veering off. That's rather haphazard. Um, Certainly, when you're starting to compromise, you're jeopardizing your boundaries. And yeah, I mean, you've got to stop it with that first temptation to do a second look. You notice a pretty lady, and you've got to decide right then. Okay, I'm not going to jeopardize my boundaries. And the danger with compromise, once you start to compromise, it gets more comfortable in the compromisation, and so you could be steps away from a full-on relapse. And in some ways, many of the compromises, though subtle, are actually already breaking the all clear. But as you continue to see the erosion of your commitment and consistency, you risk sliding back into complacency that it doesn't matter. And so when you compromise, God's ideals and what you would want for your life and your family, those start to erode. And yeah, you become complacent about your commitments. And when you compromise, I mean, that's why there's power in showing up, because by just being here on this call every week, there's a sense of at least possible growth, possible consistency. I mean, being here doesn't change you, but being here gives you an opportunity to be changed, to grow, to continue to be strengthened. And when you compromise, you really do tamper with the rebuilding of trust, because it's so easy to experience a really sad setback, in your relationship with the significant people in your life. And so, yeah, so there are a lot of dangers that come along with the compromise. Some of the scriptural challenges warning against compromise. Going to look at 6 of them here, and obviously there's way more than this. So let's see if we can garner some strength and some mental agreement with these scriptural principles. First of all, it says, my challenge is that you'll run as far as you can from any form of sexual temptation. Simply put, in 1 Corinthians 6, flee sexual immorality. Flee. Flee. Well, what part of flee don't you understand? Flee means move away from. Flee means run from. And so, okay. So, and it's rather the opposite of subtle here. It's pretty direct. Free from sexual immorality. Okay, so you know what the all clear looks like, and you just need to run as far as you can from anything along that line. Number 2, it's wise to avoid even the direction of any kind of compromise. If clear compromise is over there, then the wisdom is not to make subtle steps in that direction, to avoid even the direction of any kind of compromise. Look what it says in Proverbs 4. It's rather fun. Do not set foot on the path of the wicked or walk in the way of evildoers. Avoid it. Do not travel on it. Keep from it and go your own way. You see, if that is the wrong direction and that's the path that is dangerous, notice it says, don't even set a foot on that path. Don't step one step down that path. And don't walk in the way of this compromise. Don't walk in the way of sexual relapse. Avoid it. Do not travel on it, not even one step. And turn from it. Don't go there. Turn and go a different way. So avoid even that direction. Keep far from sexual temptation. Don't get as near as you can. I used to travel a lot and speak to young people about, sexual compromise, in relationships. And often when I would speak on, drawing the line sexually in dating relationships, when I get to the question time, I'd many times get asked, well, how far can you go? How far is okay? And the question is really saying, I want to know where the line is because I want to go as close as I can to that line. And that Proverbs 5, and of course, when it's talking here in Proverbs 5, it's talking about the wayward woman, which is in those days there wasn't magazines and videos, and there was just real people that were as were wayward women or prostitutes and all, and keep a path far from her. Do not go near the door of her house. You see, don't get as near as you can. One of the men I helped from the island some years ago, when he would come home from work, between work and home was a real seedy bookstore where he could really get into trouble. And so part of the agreement was that his drive home, because that's when he'd often get tempted to stop in and spend a half an hour in a little booth, and watch some garbage and have the PMO cycle on the way home in this store. And so the agreement was that he had to drive home on a different route. He could not even go by that store lest he be weak that day and be tempted. And so he was keeping far from that. Number 4, escape immediately from any direct temptation. Leave. And this is the wonderful story of Joseph being pressured to be sexually involved with his boss's wife. Don't know all the reasons, but obviously she was a woman without scruples, and she was hitting on him pretty much every time she saw him. And so not only did he, refuse any direct requests to go to bed with her, but he wouldn't even be with her. And one day he went into this home where she was to attend his duties, whatever it was, and none of the household servants were there. He was there, sadly, by himself. And she grabbed him by the coat and she said, "Come to bed with me." And he actually left so quick that she pulled the outer coat off him, and he ran from the house. He escaped immediately. Now, of course, she was frustrated by being turned down again, and she turned it into, "He tried to rape me, and look, here's his coat still here," and he got thrown into jail. But yeah, the idea is run, leave. Matter of fact, when you're tempted visually and you're wanting to maybe scope a woman, you need to move towards people. You need to move towards other people. You just got to move away from that situation. Um, I really like this one in 2 Timothy 2:22, where I challenge you. My words would be: run away from any of the youthful temptations. The temptations that came alive when we were in the teen years, and run with the right crowd. Now, I would argue that you're here on this call running with the right crowd. But look what it says in 2 Timothy. Flee the evil desires of youth, all those desires that come alive there that become selfish, etc. And pursue righteousness, faith, love, and peace. Okay, so those are the things you're going after. You're going after righteousness, right living, faith, growing in your faith, loving people, and being a person who's at peace inside because of the lack of compromise. And along with those who call on the Lord with a pure heart. You see, you're running with a group of people who are calling on the Lord with pure hearts. How cool is that? Um, so that's what you're doing here. When you get together with other people and you do your breakouts and you do your check-ins, these are just really wonderful times for you to pursue the right things and run with people who are the right crowd. And finally, from Titus chapter 2, just say no to all worldly passions and learn self-control. For the grace of God has appeared and it offers salvation to all people. God's grace is there and he will help you. And God's grace teaches us to say no to ungodliness and worldly passions, but to live self-controlled, upright, and godly lives in this present age. God wants us to take the strength that's there, ask God for help, live so surrendered and committed to him that we start to say no to the compromise and to live self-controlled, upright, and godly lives. That's what he wants for all of us. So there's some really beautiful anchoring scripture about no compromise. You see, move away, don't compromise, incrementally get closer to the line. But again, I will challenge you with this bit of wisdom. It shouldn't be see how close you can get, but see how pure you can stay. Don't try to get close to the line of compromise. It'll be too tempting sometimes. And so now making this practical, I have 10 anchoring truths to guard against compromise. Okay? So these are anchoring truths that are going to help you to grow in that consistent commitment to follow the Lord and honor your spouse and family and live a life without compromise. So let's look at this. First of all, number one, victory over sexual temptation is possible. Don't think otherwise. Because when you're really addicted, there's no way out. I'll never get out of this. You have that kind of talk going. But passion and purity can coexist. You got to believe it because God says it. And again, it's how can I continue to stay pure if I amuse myself with aspects of impurity? I've got to make choices, but keep in mind that victory over temptation is possible. Now, it's hard when compromise and sexual engagement has been your pattern and your addiction. Number two, corrupt or clean, it's a matter of closeness. And I would argue it's again not how close I can get to the line without crossing the all clear line, but how clear can I stay? I want to stay away from that line. I don't even want to be close. And there's danger when you see a pop-up. There's a danger when you see a seedy kind of pop-up if you're online. There's danger because you're close now. You're a couple clicks away from seeing full-on nudity. Be really careful. Don't get closer and closer to the edge. Number three, you need to grow in the awareness that God really is stronger than the enemy's pull. You and God do make a majority. In 1 John, we read this, greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. Greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. And forgive me, but I'm convinced I've got the wrong verse down there, and I want to just correct it. Yeah. So, yeah. Yeah, it's actually First John 4:4, not 3:2. I apologize. I'll make that correction. But 1 John 4:4, um, greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. Apologize for having a mental fart there. Um, and then, of course, from Romans chapter 8, verses 31 and 37. What shall we say in response to these things? If God is for us, who can be against us? No, in all these things we are more than conquerors through him that loved us. God is for us, who can be against us? And yeah, so God is stronger than the enemy's pull back into the addiction. You got to just keep surrendering. And this is a good one too, to rethink the line of compromise. Where's the line of compromise? Remember, it's not how close you can get to the line, but how far you can stay away from it. You know, if you dance near the cliff long enough, you'll likely end up falling over it. Don't even ask the question how far I can go. Ask the question how clear I can stay. Change the question. And yeah, if you don't want to cross the line, don't go looking for the line. And where's the line? Well, don't go looking for it. And if you hover over that area, long enough, you'll likely, um, you know, again, this is the idea of the key on the keyboard. But if you hover over that key long enough, you'll likely end up pushing it. And so don't linger, don't compromise. Matter of fact, again, for a long season, you need to have covenant eyes or something equivalent to protect you on your devices so that there isn't an opportunity to compromise. Yeah. The number 5, stand clear to stay clean. Seek to avoid temptation, not resist it. That's an interesting one. Avoid temptation. Don't be in temptation and I'm going to resist it. No, just don't even go to compromising places. I challenge some guys. Why are we meeting in this location? This restaurant is kind of known for the seedy waitresses who are told to dress, tight tops, low buttons on the front, and the whole tight skirt. Why? Oh well, we don't notice. I just said BS. BS. I think you got to make a better choice, because if you got a history of compromise, why would you be going to this place? Stand clear to stay clean. Uh, Number 6, know your standards and read out your boundaries. That's why I challenge people to actually have a recovery game plan where you have your actions and activities and attitudes that you're going to try to stay with to help you grow. You're going to have your boundaries that you're going to set that are going to say, these are my boundaries, my limits, the all clear stuff. And then finally, what are my consequences if I do um, any kind of compromise or relapse? And so you got to know your standards, write them out, and know what's right and wrong for you sexually, be accountable. And then once you wrote those out, don't doubt in the dark what's true in the day. Don't doubt when you're alone and you're private and you're tempted what's true when you're with others and when you're thinking clear. Number 7, the enemy's strategy is to normalize evil, is to normalize scoping, is to normalize these things. The enemy is all about compromise, slow, insidious, deceptive, and sneaky erosion of your values. Thus, through our culture, he desensitizes us through all forms of nudity and immorality, all forms of sexuality. Ask the Lord to make you more sensitive to temptations, to your own selfishness and to your own sin. And I've been working hard to keep the word triggers for your spouse, things that trigger her. And I recognize that trigger is a general word that could be used to your, to tempting situation. But just to help others, I don't want to confuse. So I've moved more and more towards triggers are used for your spouse, temptations are used for you. And number 8, if you smell smoke, there's fire. Don't tolerate even a hint of sexual immorality. No dirty jokes, no sexual innuendos, no flirting, nothing. And look what Ephesians says here in chapter 5. But among you, there must not even be a hint of sexual immorality or any kind of impurity or greed, because these are improper for God's holy people. Nor should there be any obscenity, foolish talk, or coarse joking, which are out of place, but rather live a life of thanksgiving. So that's pretty clear. Not even a hint. And number 9, I I want you to have as your standard that you do not objectify any other person. And so this is as clear as I can get here. Stop all scoping, gawking, peeking, peering, rubbernecking, gazing, staring, looking, glancing, ogling, watching, rating, checking out, and all forms of second looks. Rather, treat younger women as sisters with absolute purity. Or as it says in Job 31, I made a covenant with my eyes not to look lustfully at a young woman. No second looks. You will notice a person that's attractive, so be it. Now, stop there. And finally, number 10, do all you can to get to know Jesus better. Do all you can to get to know Jesus better. Take your faith seriously. His Holy Spirit will quicken your confidence, make it more alive, and he will convict you of sin. He also comforts and strengthens you. Surrender your recovery fully to the Lord and get to know Jesus better. If you merely get to know me because you're part of this recovery, I don't make the difference. Jesus does. If I don't help you get to know Jesus better in this journey, though we're specifically applying it to sexual addiction recovery, I'm out of line if I'm not helping you get to know Jesus better. And so that is my prayer, that through your time in ReGroup or in the other programs of doing family right, that you'd realize that we really do believe that if you put God first, life goes best. And that's what we want for you. And so my prayer is that you would say, okay, where am I compromising? As opposed to a consistent commitment to the things that honor the Lord. Where are you compromising? Let's talk about it.